Hello, good afternoon. I am Subramanya Sharma from Department of English, University College of Arts, Tumkur. In this brief video lecture, I will talk about the theory of imitation or mimesis as propounded by Aristotle. While propagating his theory of mimesis, Aristotle was counter-arguing the theory of imitation given by his teacher Plato. Plato had put aside all kinds of imitation, including poetry and drama, because Plato had believed that the art of imitation is an inferior thing, its associate inferior, and its products were to be inferior. So, Aristotle, while giving a counter argument to the theory of imitation given by Plato, comes down to the very fundamental level when Aristotle says that imitation is quite natural. He implies that imitation is rather an inborn characteristic of all human beings. For example, we human beings acquire language through imitation. Take the example of a small child that learns and acquires language skills by imitating its elders or those people around it who are able to handle language in a better way than the child. So what the child does is to imitate the way how language is being handled by others. So when Aristotle has come down to this basic level to define the theory of imitation or mimesis, he also in a sense tries to attempt or create an argument that it's quite natural and also creative to imitate forms of nature, things found in nature, and also things found in the surroundings through works of literature and art. Therefore, when an artist imitates something from the nature, when a poet imitates something from nature in his poetry, or when a novelist imitates something from the society, Aristotle's argument proves that imitation is quite natural. The second argument that Aristotle puts forward is that imitation gives pleasure. When the fundamental objective of all forms of art, including literature, is to derive pleasure, Aristotle doesn't see anything wrong in imitating. Imitation should be done at a serious level. Therefore, when Aristotle defines tragedy, he clarifies it that tragedy is the imitation of an action that is serious. Unless the imitation is serious, it may go awkward, it may become rather comical, and comical imitations are not welcome as far as Aristotle's views on the theory of imitation go. And this precisely explains the reason why Aristotle disapproved comedy, why Aristotle had established tragedy higher than all other forms of arts, because tragedy is a serious form of imitation, whereas comedy is rather an inferior form of imitation that takes to the comical side, that may make fun of or ridicule or put characters in a very ambiguous manner. Therefore, in the mimetic world, Aristotle establishes beyond doubt that it's quite natural for human beings to imitate, and imitation brings pleasure. Therefore, all forms of arts that are labeled to be imitative in nature by Plato are elevated to a higher level because of Aristotle's fundamental argument that imitation is natural and that imitation provides pleasure. Therefore, Aristotle's theory of imitation and mimesis both establish the superiority of arts forms like tragedy, and the positive qualities in all forms of arts, and thereby Aristotle establishes all writers, intellectuals, and creative writers in a positive position which was not granted to them by Plato. So, in this manner, I would like to conclude by telling that Aristotle's theory of mimesis was one of the fine theories in the history of literary criticism. Thank you very much.